If your portrait paintings aren't really coming out the way how you like them to, I'm going to show you an easy way how you can fix that right now and how I got from the photo on the left all the way to the one on the right. So I created a portrait and I wasn't really happy with how it was coming out at first. So I just implemented these few simple steps and I'm going to show you exactly what I did to get it to this finished product that I'm actually happy with now. So obviously you need to fit a certain criteria for this to work for you. So this is if your proportions aren't completely off in your photo and you still have something that you can work with. So this is like if your eyes are off, like they're off level, or if like the structure of the face is like you can't really reiterate it. And this is like to the extreme level, like say it doesn't look anything like how you want it to, then this might not work for you and you might have to actually take a few steps back and fix your foundation and that groundwork that you set down. So for this, to help you out, I do have a 7-step guide on how to paint portraits in the description, and this is going to help you out with all that groundwork with your underpainting, your shadowing, your first layer, and just all the way until like the finishing steps. Is going to be very helpful for you, even if you're just a beginner or you don't really know where to start, or you're kind of lost and you're still like getting your feet wet. This is very helpful for you, and I'll definitely say for you to check that out. But say that your proportions are already good, like how it is in this photo that I made. I feel like the proportions were already fine, like in the eyes, the eyebrows, the nose, like whole bone structure, everything. Then you can use this, and we're gonna start off with the first step that got me to the finished product. So first thing that you wanna do is focus on your shadows / your darkest tones. And actually before I go to that, I want to say that the photo that you want to reiterate, make sure that it's fully dry before you put more paint on top of it. Make sure that it's fully dry to the touch. And I use oil paint, so this took me around like 1 day for it to be dry to the touch and for me to actually be able to put layers on top of it. Okay. And this also helps as well to like take a step back from the photo, because the last thing that you want to do is keep on adding more paint and try to change the photo while you're in that state of mind of that you're not really happy with how it's coming out. Because when you're in that state of mind, I saw that me personally, sometimes I'll get this state of mind, I'll be like, oh, I'm not really happy with how it's coming out. And I'm wondering like, oh, what's going on? Is today just not a good day for painting? And I'll just keep on trying to add more paint. I'll try to like change things, try to like restructure the whole thing, but it just doesn't work out. It's like you're trying to push a rock up a hill is like too much, but that is never going to give you a positive outcome. The times that I saw the best outcome was when I actually took a step away from the photo at that same exact point that I was thinking that in my head. So say the photo isn't really coming out the way how I want and I'm not really happy with it, I just take a step away from it, and then I take a step away from painting in general. Like I'm not going to create anything. I'm just going to take some time away. I'm going to go outside. I'm going to go do a different activity that's going to take my mind away from it. So now the time that I actually do go back to the painting, I'm in a clearer state of mind and I'm able to see things freshly. And this probably happened to you before. You probably worked on something for so long and your vision sort of gets like distorted and you can't really tell like how it looks from a fresh eye because you're staring at it for too long. Just taking a step away from it just does so much for you, and you're able to actually make effective changes to the photo that you want to make. So now your shadows and your darkest tones. For this photo that I made right here, I'm gonna show you on the screen exactly what I did. I used ultramarine blue because that was my darkest tone. But say that you're creating a photo that's like a portrait, then I would use burnt umber. And I don't use black because black is too dark of a color and it's gonna mix and make like a very like brownish, like grayish color, and you don't really want that. We can always add black on top of that burnt umber that we put down to get those parts that really sink deep in like our shadows. So start off with your darkest tones, okay? Burnt umber if you're making skin, or say that your darkest tone is like a purple, you use that and you start to sharpen up those areas that have that darkest tone. So for the photo I made right here, I just put those ultramarine blue for the shadows on the forehead, around her cheeks, and like other areas that surround her nose, just to really make those parts sink in. And people don't really notice this, but sometimes a lot of the reason why the photos don't come out the way how we like is because the shadowing isn't really that realistic and it's not really that deep. But when we fix the shadowing issue, then you put yourself in a great place and the photo actually starts to look way better. And I remember that when I was looking at this photo, after I put the shadowing, then it was already looking way better. So I feel like that was a big issue that I was facing with this photo that I wasn't really that happy with. So once you add the shadows and your darkest tones, then now it's time for the next step, which is your midtones or also your lightest tones. So these are both step 2, and you use your midtones if you're already satisfied with your lightest tones, and you use your light tones if you're already satisfied with the midtones. Now you might be wondering, like, what does all this mean? It sounds like a whole bunch of gibberish, but what I mean for this one right here, your midtones if you're already satisfied with your lightest tones, we're not going to be repainting the whole entire thing from scratch. Okay, we're just going to create a nice transition from the dark tones all the way to the light tones. And for this photo, I was already satisfied with the light tones, so I worked on the mid-tones and I just created a nice blend from the ultramarine blue down to like the light blue all the way to that pink that I already had down on the face. So I just took some of my teal color and I mixed it next to that dark blue color that I had on the skin, and I just blended them together and created a nice transition from the darks all the way to the lights. Now say that I was already happy with how the teal color came out, then I'd be working on my lightest tones, which is the pinks, and I'll lay down the pink and I'll put it right next to the teal that I was already happy with and create that blend into the darkest color, which was the ultramarine blue. Okay, so once you do this, you're gonna blend them all together just to get that nice transition, because in the photo that I had up here, the transitions were kind of choppy and you could see the brush strokes, so the whole skin texture wasn't really that smooth, and I wasn't really happy with that aspect of it. So now that I added in all those extra steps, I'm able to have a smoother skin tone, have a smoother skin texture as well, and the whole picture just looks a whole lot nicer because everything is smooth now. But after you blend and have all those parts mixing in from the darks all the way to the lights, and you're happy with that part, now is actually time to start to add your details with your white and also your black. So I just took a little bit of white and I used my big brush. You don't want to use your fine brush, you want to use your big brush, because this is going to make transitioning from colors easier and it's going to make it come out like a lot nicer with your textures wise. So I put the white around where the cheeks are, around the nose, and around like the top of the lips, just to give it that nice shine. And I added the black after I added the white, just to sharpen up where all those like eye areas are, like the eyebrows, also some areas on the hair, just to really deepen out those parts. So you just want to blend things very nicely and just work with what you have. Like imagine it like it's a stack of clay, or you already made the sculpture and now you're just like smoothing out areas and you're sharpening up, like adding little bits of clay to parts that were sort of dented and like making things smooth. You're not changing the whole entire thing. You're just adding these little parts, blending them, making it look nice, and now you have like a finished product that you're actually happy with. So that is exactly what I did for this photo right here. That's how I got it from this phase right here all the way to right here. So don't give up, all right? Don't give up on the photo, don't throw it away. You still have hope, you can always change these things, all right? So this whole painting process, it should be fun, and you shouldn't really find it as something that you should get discouraged from, or you feel like you're lost and you don't really have what it takes, because you do. You just need to find out the right steps to take, and it becomes way better, it becomes way more fun. All right, so that's what I did. And again, I want to invite you to check out that 7-step guide on how to paint portraits, which is in the description. It's going to help you out a lot, and it's going to make your portrait painting process way faster. And it's the exact same stuff that I do every single time that I want to paint, and now I'm able to make portraits in like 2 hours long. So if you want to do that too, this is the way how you're going to do it. And also, if you want to learn the most important thing that you should know if you want to get really good at portrait painting, check the video out on the screen right now, and I'll see you all over there.